Okay, so this is again Pre-Algebra Math 7. We're in Chapter 6, Section 8. This is the second day. Yesterday we graphed systems of linear equations. There's a video posted on the website if you weren't here. Today we're going to graph systems of linear inequalities. So it's even a little trickier. Because when we graph a linear inequality, what does that look like? Do you remember? A linear, we know what linears are, right? Inequality. Sophia.
The line is solid or dashed and it's shaded.
Excellent. She said the line is solid or dashed and it's shaded. But now, rather than just a linear inequality, we're going to graph a system. So what does that mean?
There's going to be two lines.
More than one, two of them, or maybe even more than two of them. Okay, so it's going to, okay, before we write the steps to this, we're going to go do one, and then we'll come back and write the steps. So here's the one we're going to do, okay? We need a little coordinate plane, and you need to take down the inequalities. Y is less than x plus 2, and y is greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 1. Two inequalities. On paper, you can shade with pencil, okay, but on the board I'm going to use two different colors for the two different equations, all right, because I can't show different shading. Okay, so I'm going to graph this first inequality. I'm going to call it A so we can talk about how it's different than the second inequality, which I'm going to call B, all right? Okay, so the first inequality, we see it is in our favorite form. Let's say that form together.
Slope y-intercept 1.
So the slope of inequality A is,
1.
ooh, it's tricky. It looks invisible, but it is
1.
1 over 1. The y-intercept of that inequality is
2.
2. It is a less than sign. So what type of line will this be?
Dash.
Solid.
Dash.
I hear both, but it's a less than sign, so it is dash. Okay? So we have this really important information, and then we will, again, need to shade. Don't forget, I'm going to make a note. We've got to shade. Some people forgot to shade the other day on your homework assignment. You did shade in class, and then you forgot to shade in the homework assignment. These must be shaded. There's only one way to show the graph of these, and that's a shaded part of the plane. Okay? Okay, so let's use this information. Put together your coordinate plane. Don't forget to label it. Okay, don't forget, if you are watching a video to do the lesson, you need to pause it and make sure your notes are nice and neat. So we paused it and we have filled in the scale for this coordinate plane. And now we will go ahead and use the information we found to graph inequality A. So where do we go first to graph inequality A? Casey?
You go down. Up to.
Up to, because we know a point, it is the y-intercept. Good. We have a point. From that point, we need to find a second point. So how do we get to a second point? Zach?
You go up 1 over 1.
Okay, so we're using our slope up 1 over 1. We now have 2 points. Is that enough information to draw the line?
Yes.
So we now need to remember this. The line in this case is dash. So carefully, I'm going to grab a line. I'm going to make the line red. You use a ruler. I'm going to make the line dashed. Okay, extend that into all quadrants that it covers, right? Extend it. So what's the final step when graphing an inequality? And Riley?
Test.
Good. What point would you like to test? She says test 0, 0, because 0, 0 is not on this line. It's a good test point. So 0, 0, we're going to test in the original inequality. Y is less than x plus 2. So tell us what it looks like when you substitute, Riley.
Well, it looks like 0 is less than 0
And I put a little question mark there. That means that we're testing it. So the question is 0 less than 0 plus 2? What is 0 plus 2? 2. So 0 is less than 0 plus 2. So I'm going to star that. That point is a solution of this inequality. Now, what does that mean with our shading then, Riley?
Well, you shade everything that's on the side.
Yeah, we shade toward that point. It is a solution, so shade this way toward that point. So I'm going to draw arrows showing that. I'm going to wait on my final shading because this is a system. We need to graph the second one as well. So we're going to inequality B. Okay, Ray, what's inequality B's slope? The slope of this inequality here. Shh, Casey. Well, look at this. It's in slope y-intercept form. Can you see the slope right here? -2 over what? Good. And the y-intercept is? Good, -1. Don't forget, we need to make a note of the type of line this is. It's an inequality, so this line, everyone, is?
Solid.
Solid. And then, let's make a note, don't forget, we've got to shade this somehow at the end, so don't forget. Okay, so we're going to use this information for graphing. Mary, where do we go first?
You go down,
From the point of origin down, how far?
-1.
Good. There's your starting point at the y-intercept of -1. And now how do we find the second point, Mary?
You go down -2 and over to the right one.
Good. Down 2 and over 1. Do we have enough information to graph the line now? We do. And remember, our line is supposed to be solid. So I've got to go change this line to a solid style. And I'm going to make it blue so we can see that it's the other one, right? Be sure you extend your line into all quadrants that it covers. And nice and straight. Because remember, we've got a shade. So it's a whole half plane that's shaded. There's our line. Okay, so what must we do? Somebody knew. Somebody knew. Somebody knew. Jeremy.
We need to try.
Good. Test a point. Which point would you like to test?
How about 1, 0?
1, 0. He wants to test this point. Does everybody see this? 1, 0. That point is not on the line, right?
Right.
That's a good point to test. So we're going to test 1, 0 in this inequality. Let's rewrite it. Now, Jeremy, tell us how to substitute this point of yours into this inequality.
Okay, so you put in 1 for x and 0 for y. So 0 is greater than or equal to -2 minus 1. So 0 is greater than or equal to -2.
Is this true? Is 0 greater than or equal to -3?
Yes.
Ooh, yes. This is a solution. So from our blue line, we will shade toward that test point. It looks like we're shading this way, right? And this way on that blue line. Okay, so this is the big question. Where is the solution of the system, do you think, right now? Lindsay?
On -1, 1.
It's not just one point, right? The solution of the system, Michael?
It's like when they both can be shaded.
Excellent. Where they're overlapping. So if you were shading these with your pencil, you notice that this area here is all overlapping. So this is the area to shade in. This is the solution of the system. It's the area that overlaps. Thumbs up if you understand. Very good. Very good. So there's a lot of work to this, isn't there?
There's a lot of busy.
And ultimately, this other shaded area that you have, hopefully is just shaded light, so you can just leave it there. But the dark area is what I'm looking for. The dark area is the set of solutions. The only way to show this is either graphing it or giving me these two inequalities. That's the only way to show this. Okay, so you've done it. We're going to now go back and write these steps down in our rule box. Okay, so let's go back to the rule box and put down the steps to this. The first step of graphing a system of linear inequalities is a really loaded step. It has a bunch of stuff in it. What do? You, Nico?
You isolate y, and then you try to you plot the point.
You graph each of them, right? Each of the linear inequalities. And he said you may have to isolate y, which is really important to get to your slope y-intercept form. Don't forget dash solid and shading. And then really, the next step is to look for what? Where is the solution of the system? And I think Sophia just said that. It is the area where? Bella? Good, the overlap. That's it. Can you believe this is all in 2 steps? The first step is filled with all that you've done this chapter. It involves graphing a line and shading, dashed and solid, all that stuff that you've learned in 1 step. Okay, we're going to try one more, so if you are taking this lesson at home, then pause the video and do your best. Come back and check your answer with what we show here. We're not going to walk through it. There's not time left on the video to walk through it with a video, so you'll have to come back and check it. And if you got an overlap in this area, then you did it right. Our line looks a little bit cockeyed, but that was due to technical difficulties, right? Okay, there you go. Have fun. Enjoy.